On a Saturday morning in September, Marcus Blake handed over $100 at Coleman's Auto Salvage and pointed to a car that looked like it had been dead for 20 years. Paint stripped to rust and primer, windshield cracked in 3 places, door handles seized shut. His neighbor, Victoria Hayes, was getting her mail when the tow truck turned onto Maple Street. She laughed loud enough for the whole block to hear. "You just taught your daughter the fastest way to throw money away," she called out. Marcus said nothing. He looked at the car. He went to work. 72 hours later, a man named Clayton Pierce stood in that same driveway with a cashier's check for $2.3 million. What was hiding beneath all that rust? The answer is something none of them saw coming. Marcus Blake was 34 years old, up at 5:47 every morning, make Emma's lunch, check the schedule, walk to the garage where he worked as a freelance restoration consultant, verifying authenticity for classic car buyers. It paid enough. Some months. His wife Sarah had died 3 years earlier in a highway accident. The hospital bills had not. Marcus paid them in pieces, quietly. Emma was 6, missing a front tooth, devoted to a stuffed rabbit called Rusty. She wore mismatched socks most days. Marcus never corrected this logic. Frank Moreno was Marcus's only real friend. 52, ran a body shop, knew when to ask questions and when to sit in silence. Friday evenings, he brought sandwiches. Victoria Hayes had moved to Maple Street 14 months earlier. White door, silver Lexus, perfect flower boxes. 33, pharmaceutical sales, standards she enforced without pause. She wasn't cruel, she simply never paused before speaking. Marcus reached Coleman's Salvage at 8:15 that Saturday, went for a brake drum, left with something else. The car sat in the back corner under a sagging roof. 2-door coupe. Black, or what had been black before rust consumed it. But the proportions stopped him. The wheelbase was longer than it should have been, the roofline lower, the rear panels curved in a way that wasn't machine-stamped, hand-shaped. He put his palm flat against the door. The metal was cold through the rust. Underneath, he felt it. Hand-finished bodywork. Subtle but unmistakable to someone who'd touched cars since he was 12. Coleman walked up behind him. "That one's $100. Take it today or it goes to the crusher Monday." Marcus stood still for a moment. He thought about Emma's shoes, which were half a size too small. He thought about the utility bill on the counter. He thought about the fact that he couldn't explain why he was standing here with his hand on a rusted car he knew nothing about. He paid the $100. When he opened the driver's door to check the interior, a small piece of faded sticker peeled away from the doorframe and drifted to the ground. He picked it up, put it in his pocket. He'd look at it later. The tow home was slow. Frank's pickup, the rope, the coupe, drifting behind at 15 miles per hour. They pulled onto Maple Street at 9:40, 5 people watching, Victoria at her mailbox. She'd been standing there for several minutes. Heard him coming. The laugh came first. Then, "That's what you spent money on? Poor kid." Emma was at the driveway edge with her backpack, having come outside when she heard the truck. Marcus did not turn around. Put the truck in park, got out. "Go inside and get my toolbox." Emma looked at Victoria once, not with anger, with something more careful. Then at the car the same way her father had. Head tilted, listening. Then she went inside. That night, Marcus worked. 2 work lights, small radio, cleaned the car bottom up, back to front, slow, solvent cloth on the footwell. Grime came away in sheets. Underneath, stenciled into bare metal, chassis number. Wasn't standard format. 7-character string, HRC 71A, photographed it, searched 40 minutes. Found reference to European coach builder registry from early 1970s. String matched nothing public. Sticker fragment from salvage yard. Held it under light. Mostly gone. What remained? Stylized wheel, simplified flame. Hadn't been made for a street car. Taped it to paper. Morning, Frank came over at 6:45, stood under the car on creeper 4 minutes, came out slowly. Frames hand reinforced, not factory, additional support on every stress point, months of work. Walked to front. Blocks custom machined, bored by hand. Whoever built this, something specific. Serious money and knowledge. Marcus photographed the suspension, geometry wrong for street, track tuning, found forum, uploaded photos. By morning, 51 replies. Several were certain it was a kit build from the 1980s. 3 members with professional motorsport backgrounds were less certain. One posting under the name Heritage Hunter wrote, "If that chassis number is authentic, you're looking at something that's been missing for 15 years. Another sent a private message. "Stop posting public photos. Trust me." Marcus printed the thread. That evening, Emma came into the garage after school and sat on an overturned bucket. She had Rusty in her lap. She watched her father polish the rear panel for a while. "Does the car have a name yet?" Marcus thought about it. "Not yet. You want to pick one?" Emma looked at the car seriously. After a moment she said, "Bolt." Marcus set down the cloth. He was very still. "That's a good name." He went back to work. Third day, Marcus worked the B-pillar. Paint thicker there. Fine grit paper cut through rust. Found underneath, white blue. Specific shade, metallic. Auction catalogs. Worked carefully now. Interface of pillar, hidden when door closed. Stamped mark pressed in metal. Number 003. Beside it, stylized signature HRC. Photographed it, searched 3 hours. 1 a.m. Match in digitized collector car magazine from 1984. Article about dissolution of California coach building firm, 1970s. Most innovative in custom racing. Several prototypes destroyed in workshop fire, 1983. Among them, test chassis for endurance geometry study, never completed, presumed destroyed. Stamped signature, designer Harrison Cole. Firm owned by Clayton Pierce. Marcus sat in the garage until daylight. Frank told his wife. She told the woman 2 doors down. By morning, Maple Street knew. 2 neighbors appeared with implausible reasons. Socket wrench, lost cat. Both looked at the car. He covered it with a blue tarp. Victoria heard the story third hand. Car worth millions. She laughed, then searched Clayton Pierce online. 15 minutes later, net worth $800 million. Searching for a lost prototype. She stood at her window looking at the tarp. That evening, an email arrived. Rebecca Stern, executive assistant to Clayton Pierce. Her employer had seen the forum photos. Would Mr. Blake meet in person? 24 hours. Please confirm. Marcus read the email 3 times at the kitchen table with his hands flat on the surface. Then he stood, went to the garage, sat on Emma's bucket, and called Frank. "I got a message from Clayton Pierce's office." Pause. "Say that again slowly." Marcus repeated it. Longer pause. "What do you want to do?" "I don't know yet. I wanted to tell someone first." "You told the right person," Frank said. "Now tell Rebecca Stern you'll see them tomorrow." The 4th morning, Marcus woke at 5:47, made coffee, Emma's breakfast, routine, best shirt, dark blue. Emma asked, "Is someone important coming?" "Maybe." "Is Bolt going to stay?" "Let's see." Frank arrived at 9 SAO. Brought coffee. Black Mercedes pulled up at 10 SAOs. Clayton Pierce climbed out. 64, lean, white hair, working hands. Walked directly to the garage. Stopped when he saw the car. Rebecca behind him, tablet ready. Frank at the door. Clayton walked around it slowly, hands extended. Said nothing for a long time. Finally stood at the rear. "I thought it was gone forever. You know this car? I commissioned it, 1971. 2 years, cost more than money. In 1983 they told me it burned. I believed it. Walked to the B-pillar, pressed 1 finger to the stamped signature. Full minute. Harrison Cole was my lead designer, died in 1982. Never saw it completed. The design changed endurance chassis for the next decade. Harrison marked every structure. What happened after the fire? Don't know. Someone moved it, or it wasn't there. I looked twice, stopped eventually." "How did you find it?" Marcus told him. "Coleman's, brake drum, back row, crusher Monday." Emma at the door with Rusty. "Come here." She stood next to him. "My dad named it Bolt." Clayton's expression changed, looked at the car, back at Emma. "That's a good name. Did you miss it a lot?" "Very much. That's what my dad says about important things. That you miss them." Rebecca stepped forward. Tablet screen, $2,300,000. 1-page agreement. Clayton said, "I don't negotiate this kind of thing. That's museum value and personal value. You can say no." Marcus looked at the number. He looked at his daughter. He looked at the car. He did not answer immediately. That evening, Marcus sat in the garage for a long time. Emma was inside watching a movie. Frank had stayed an hour, then gone home. Marcus thought about Sarah. She'd kept a notebook full of sketches, cars mostly. There was one drawing she'd done repeatedly in slightly different versions, a long coupe with a steep windshield and rear arches that looked carved. He'd looked at that drawing 100 times without knowing what car she'd been drawing. He understood now she might have been drawing from imagination. He thought about the name Emma had chosen, the rabbit and the car, same name through a 6-year-old's instinct. He picked up his phone and called Rebecca Stern. "I have one condition, then yes," she said. "Tell me." "The car gets displayed publicly, not in a private collection, somewhere people can see it. And on the placard, Harrison Cole's name gets explained clearly. The engineering described so a regular person understands what he built," Rebecca said. "I'll relay this immediately." 8 minutes later she called back. "He agrees, and he wants to add something. He wants your daughter's name on the placard as well. He said the car has a name now, and the person who gave it that name should be recorded." Marcus put his hand over his eyes for a moment. Sat like that. Then he said, "Tell him thank you." The following morning, Victoria came outside without coffee. Marcus noticed from the kitchen window, first time in 14 months without something in her hands. She stood at her gate as the flatbed transport backed into the street. Marcus came out. 2 technicians attached the harness with care that approached reverence. Victoria walked across the street, stopped a few feet from him, started to speak. "I didn't know." Marcus looked at her. No victory in his expression. He said, "It's all right, Victoria. Next time you see someone buy something they believe in, wait 3 days before weighing in." She had no answer. She opened her mouth and closed it again. Marcus turned back to the car, heard her walk away. Emma came out in her pajamas, holding Rusty, watched the car being loaded, raised one hand in a small wave. Marcus saw it from the corner of his eye. His throat tightened. The money arrived 3 weeks later on a Tuesday, single transfer. Marcus sat at the kitchen table and looked at the number for a long time. First thing he did was call the hospital billing office and pay Sarah's remaining medical debt. Full amount, 1 payment, 4-minute conversation. He said, "Thank you," and hung up before the administrator could say more. He sat quietly after that. He bought Emma new shoes. The building set, called Frank, put money into the shop. The rest went into a fund at Emma's school, named for Sarah, assistance for families carrying weight that didn't show. He sent a letter, declined to speak. 3 weeks later, Rebecca called. Museum opening. Heritage Motor Museum. The car was the centerpiece. Fully restored, white-blue paint. Marcus drove them Thursday evening. Emma wore her shoes, carried Rusty. Clayton inside, the car suspended on a platform. Extraordinary, something imagined before its time, hidden 40 years, returned. The placard. Harrison Cole's name prominent. Engineering in plain language. Bottom text. The car was named Bolt by 6-year-old Emma Blake, who said it was the right name. And it was. Emma stood still for a long time. "Dad, is Bolt happy here?" "More people can see him now." She nodded. "That's good," took his hand. "Can we get food after?" Marcus smiled, full, unguarded. "Yeah, whatever you want." On Maple Street, Victoria Hayes's house had a for sale sign by the end of the following month. Official reason, new office location made commute inconvenient. True, as far as it went. Nobody said anything unkind. The justice that real life occasionally delivers is not loud. It's simply the weight of a moment you cannot undo, sitting with you on quiet evenings in the exact shape of the words you chose to say out loud. Marcus kept the garage, kept the 5:47 mornings and Friday evenings with Frank. He did not become a different person. He became a more settled version of who he had already been. Someone who knew the things worth attending to rarely announce themselves. That the difference between value and worthlessness is often just the willingness to stop and look properly at something the world has walked past. He still talked to Sarah sometimes in the garage at night, not out loud. In the way people who have loved truly continue the conversation long after the other voice has gone quiet. Not from grief, from understanding that some things don't conclude. They change form. He thought she would have known the car for what it was, would have recognized it at the salvage yard, would have said simply, "I know this shape." He thought she would have been proud of Emma for the name, proud of him for the $100.